Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for the Pokemon Video Game Championships Regionals in Malaysia's Comet Fiesta. I'm your host commentator for today, Ismat Myron, and our contestants for Swiss rounds number 6 over here. We have Jaryl and Ismat. Jaryl here is a very established player in Singapore. He has managed to go top 8 in Singapore Nationals this year, losing to Zarif Ismat, who is also a well-renowned player for Malaysia, and he is also qualified for top 8 Malaysia regionals, but he also lost to Aiman Ishak. Both are very renowned Malaysian players over here, very caliber for that matter, and he is also a very well-established player for Singapore, as he has made a big impact to the Singapore players game over there. And we're gonna get to see him go down with Fadil over here. Fadil over here, I've seen him play in multiple Pokemon competitions over here locally in Malaysia, and he's also a very well played player, very safe. Most of his Pokemons are very either not to say common, but although common, but they run very different kind of sets, very variety as well. Lots of variants in moves, a lot of synergy between his team over here. And yeah, for Jaryl's team over here, he is running Crobat, Landorus, Conkeldurr, Charizard, Sylveon and Cresselia. That's his team of choice for this regionals, for that matter, in Malaysia. I'd like to see how would he play compared to our previous Singaporean competitor over here, which is Melvin over here. As both players have obviously different Mega Evolutions over here. Charizard being the picked one for Jaryl over here. And we're about to go live shortly, but we're going to team preview right now. As we can see over here from Fadil's side over here, he is carrying, on Jaryl's side we can see that, like I said, Cresselia, Sylveon, Charizard, Conkeldurr, Crobat, and Landorus. On Fadil's side over here we get to see Heatran, Landorus, Ludicolo, Mawile, Gastrodon, and Thundurus. Off the bat we can see some similar Pokemon over here. Not really. All we do see which are similar is only the Landorus T. Both cores are very opposite each other over here. As we do see a lot of bulky Pokemon on the field. Not necessarily they can take hits, is what I'm trying to say over here. We have Heatran over here, we have Gastrodon, Ludicolo. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a speed tier of control. How is Fadil's going to manage speed side on his side of the field over here, as there are some slow mons, as you can see over here, like Gastrodon, Ludicolo, Mawile, possibly running Thunder Wave on the Thundurus to control the speed in the game right now. As on Jaryl's side, we can see a Crobat over there. Now that screams Tailwind or Quick Guard, possibly a Super Fang to soften up Fadil's Pokemons over there, and finishing it off with a Hyper Voice from the Sylveon. I think these are the game plan that's going into both players' minds right now. Now I'm very curious on which Pokemon they're going to bring. I'm not sure whether Ludicolo is going to be very useful on Fadil's side over here, because not only does it deal very super effective hits on the opponent's side, yes, it does hit Landorus and Charizard, but it gets countered by so many Pokemon on Jaryl's side over here, such as like the Crobat or the Landorus, or possibly a Charizard with the Sun Up to making the attacks very ineffective for that matter. As we do see, we go into the game right now. As we do see Jaryl's side of the screen on below, and we do see Fadil's side in front, as he does lead off with the Mawile and Thundurus. Now, like I said before, since I've not seen a speed control on Fadil's side, it is most likely that the Thundurus is running Thunder Wave right now. And I'm not sure whether the Mawile is going to be in a very particular good situation right now, since Charizard is definitely going to outspeed the Mawile and possibly getting a Flamethrower off on that slot. So Jaryl could easily, excuse me for a moment, Jaryl could easily use the Charizard to either go for a Heat Wave or a Flamethrower for that matter onto the Mawile slot, since it's pretty safe. But the Thundurus does provide a threat for the Charizard right now, as it could easily get a super effective Thunderbolt onto the Mega Charizard. If it's a Y for that matter, if it's X, now that's a very different story right here. But we do see the core of Jaryl's side over here. I don't think it will be Charizard X, since he's very lacking on the special attack side over here, as he has mostly physical type attackers. As we do see, it is a Charizard, Mega Charizard Y for that matter, and when we see Protect, go for the first turn Protect over here, and Crobat setting up the Tailwind. Would Thunderous predict it and maybe go for a taunt on the Crobat? We'll have to see here, folks. The players are making their plays. As we do see Mawa, Mega Evolve to Mega Mawa. Would the Megas go for Protects over here? As we do see a Protect coming out from Mawa, would we see a Thunderous either go for a taunt or a Thunderbolt onto the Charizard slot? As we do see a Quick Guard coming out from Crobat right here, possibly blocking out the Thunder Wave, but we doesn't see any Prankster Thunder Waves or taunts going out. As we do see a Fire Blast onto the Thunders, picking out a one-hit KO onto the Thunderous. Wow, Under the Sun boosted. Now if that was a Heat Wave, it would easily survive it, but with a high base attack of Fire Blast, it would easily knock out the Thunderous even Under the Sun. Now Fadil is in a very tricky position right now because he has no way of managing speed control unless the Landorus T is Choice Scarf, and he could easily go for a Rock Slide right now. And now would we see Mawa and Fadil's side stay in? Now that's a question because I'm not really particular whether it would stay in. If it does stay in, it will most likely go for a Sucker Punch, possibly onto the Charizard slot, while Landorus goes for a Rock Slide right now. But we do see the Mawa switching. Not gonna take that risky play as we do see Gastron come out. Oh boy, now that means Fadil has no way of speed controlling right now. As we do see a Crobat set up a Tailwind right now, making Charizard and Crobat the fastest Pokemon on Jaryl's side over here. Fadil has no way of speed control right now. Regardless, the Rock Slide does go on from the Landorus onto the Crobat right now, dealing below damage until below 50% right now. Now, Crobat could easily go for a Super Fang onto the Landorus, or if he is confident enough that the Heat Wave next turn would KO the Landorus. We'll have to see. As we do see a Super Fang, maybe possibly going to Landorus. Yes, it does go into the Landorus slot over here. Would Landorus live another day to dish out Rock Slide for Fadil? As we do see a double target onto Landorus slot, possibly anticipating the Protect coming out from Gastrodon, as Solar Beam is a viable play from Mega Charizard over here. As we do see a Skull doing minimal damage over here onto the Charizard, so it's only dealing 38 damage for that matter. Now the Sun's really giving a major boost for Jaryl's side over here, as Fadil is severely locked down by Jaryl's Mega Charizard. Why? Could easily go for a Heat Wave right now, as we do see Mawa doing the Protect. Regardless if Tailwind does go away right now, both Pokemon still outspeeds the Gastrodon and Mawa, as they are reliably most likely used for Trick Rooms for that matter. But since there's no Pokemon on Fadil's side here that can go for a Trick Room, speed is out of the way. As we do see Crobat going for a Quick Guard, possibly anticipating a Sucker Punch going to the Charizard, and Gastrodon does go for the Ice Beam onto the Crobat right now, still living on with 3 HP for that matter. Now, would we still see the Sucker Punch coming from Mawa, as it clearly would have to Sucker Punch in order to be alive in this game? But then Charizard could easily go for a Heat Wave unless he's not running a Heat Wave at all. As we do see Mawa try to pull off a double Protect, and Crobat does pull off a Quick Guard. Now this is an easy 4-0 win right here, possibly for Jaryl's side over here, as Gastron is a one-man army fighting against Jaryl's 4 Pokemon on his side. As Jaryl still does not have the opportunity to bring out his other 2 Pokemon, only leaving Charizard and Crobat, as we do see Crobat going down to the Skull from Gastron right now, leaving Jaryl on the side of 3-0, as Tailwind does peter out right here. Now Jaryl could technically send out anyone to finish off a Gastrodon. Regardless if the Sun is up or not, Heat Wave or Fire Blast would deal significant damage onto the Gastrodon. As we do see Conkeldurr is his player of choice, Pokemon of choice for that matter, as he could easily go for a Mark Punch, not risking the outspeed for that matter, onto, as we do see a Heat Wave for that matter, single target going onto the Gastron, most likely picking out KO, as it doesn't. Wow, must be, and we do see a recover going on from Gastrodon. I don't think Fadil is in an ideal position to keep recovering the game to stall, as we do see a Drain Punch coming out from the Conkeldurr, dealing significantly more damage, and we do see a Rocky Helmet on Gastrodon. Oh boy, no Citrus, no leftovers from the Gastrodon. There's no form of recovery or sustain coming out from Gastrodon, as we do see a forfeit from Fadil's side here, accepting defeat with a 3-1 lead over here. Now that was a really fast-paced match over here, as we do see the Crobat stall out the Tailwind, and Charizard with that magnificent Fire Blast under the Sun, knocking out Thunderous in one turn. Now that was a game changer because he could easily go for a protect the next turn and outspeed every Pokemon on Fadil's side. As we do see on Fadil's side here, most of his Pokemon are tiered to be lower speed in the metagame. Better could use on control for Trick Room for that matter, or Tailwind, or Fadil could have easily Thunder Wave his opponent, but the opponent could out-predict that as he sees that there are no Trick Room involved. So they could play to expect the Thunder Wave from the Thunderous. That's therefore Crobat went for the Quick Guard on their first turn to protect from the Thunder Wave right now. And then, for example, Crobat could easily go for a Tailwind, like I said, in the second round. And the game goes on from there. It was a very easy swap for Charizard, in my opinion, as he, for example, Fadil had no way to answer the Charizard and Crobat duo, regardless if the Landorus had Choice Scarf or not. Once that Tailwind goes up, regardless, your Landorus is very vulnerable to Super Fangs, Heat Waves, Fire Blast for that matter, or Protect from Charizard, and possibly softening up the Landorus from the Crobat with the Super Fang. So he really needed to out-predict the Crobat on turn 1, make sure he did not get the Tailwind up, number 1, and number 2, make sure he could outspeed Thunder Wave the Jaryl's side of the field. Make sure all his Pokemon are slower than his slow core, prominently Gastrodon and the Mega Mawile. He didn't really play on how to conserve, didn't really expecting the Fire Blast from the Charizard to potentially one-hit KO his Thunderous, possibly didn't EV'd it enough to survive Sun Booster Mega Charizard wise Fire Blast. And it just went downhill for that, and I felt not necessarily bad, but a play that could be improved on further going on to the game right now, as Fadil would learn that to anticipate, to EV train his Pokemon properly, I guess, as Jaryl could easily landslide that game regardless of what plays he did. Even at the end, when his Crobat does falter, we can see a Conkeldurr coming on. He could easily Mark Punch and go for a Heat Wave, but instead chose to Drain Punch, dealing significantly more damage on the Gastrodon. As we see, the Gastrodon could easily take a Heat Wave without possibly even without Sun Booster, as it was possibly more especially defensive build. Therefore, the Conkeldurr's Drain Punch could do about 50% more damage. Yep. And even with the Rocky Helmet, it wasn't saving him because the physical attack from the Conkeldurr dealt more damage than I guess Fadil anticipated, as I hope he fixes out the team in the future and predict the outplays from the opponent, as Jaryl really had a safe game that round. There was no drawbacks to what he did, as the Crobat was much prepared for the Thunderous, and Jaryl knew that in order for him to outspeed the opponent before he could get the Thunder Wave off, he needed to kill off the threat that would potentially make his side of the field, which is the Charizard and the Crobat, slower via the Thunder Wave. So yeah, as Jaryl verified the threat, he went for it, and it just went on from there. The game landslided through victory for Jaryl's side of the field here. And yeah, that's why you should always have multiple ways of outspeeding your opponent, either via a Tailwind, Thunder Wave user, or Trick Room for that matter, or Icy Winds for that matter, but Icy Winds or Electro Web from the electric side. But it's not really viable because Milotics are still running around with their competitive boost, or Bishop's Defiant boost for that matter. So yeah, you have to, I guess, learn from this and balance the team out. So yeah, that was my round 6 for that matter. I'm interested to see what's going on for round 7 in Swiss, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next round. I'm your commentator for today, Ismat Myron. Thank you.